how that play is going to look on both sides.
Has there been anything kind of unexpected? Obviously it's different when you're doing it in the classroom and then doing it on air, but then you really starting to get live in the sense of anything unexpected and maybe got to adjust, kind of go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, it's a trial and error process throughout this whole development of the hybrid kickoff and the kickoff return play. And we're just honestly just trying to feel it out and try to come along as fast as we can and take what we're seeing on the field and apply it to the next practice, the next meeting, and just see improvement in all areas.
How limited are kind of what you can figure out with the inability to go full speed? I mean, how much do you have to kind of wait to figure out until you can kind of start hitting people and going all out?
Yeah, you can go at a pretty high tempo. Obviously, we're not having collisions now in the OTA setting, but we feel like we can figure out the timing, at least in the spacing, relative to where the ball is and where it's fielded and things like that. So I feel like we have a pretty good grasp on it right now.
How much of the other league film have you looked at?
Of the XFL stuff, I mean, we studied it quite a bit leading up to the players coming back. Our analytics people did a hell of a job on that. Me, Brav, Raves, Kevin, we sat down for a lot of time and met on it, just talking through schematics and how that play is similar and different to what we're going to be doing. So I think there's some similar concepts that carry over, and we'll use some of what we saw in that in that other league stuff, but the play is different from the XFL. It's a lot different.
Do you have different type of players, Bubba, on either return or coverage than you would have in before this change?
Yeah, I think so what we've done is we've repped quite a bit of skill players as far as the body types. We've repped pretty much all of our skill players back there, receivers, even some of the tight ends. We've repped a good bit of the running backs. Everyone has really gotten more ball handling than we've had in the past. And I think on the flip side of it, on the coverage aspect of it, you are going to see more, defensive players, and I think that you're going to see some bigger body types on that unit.
The coordinators got together to make these changes, or
right.
to suggest these changes, I should say. Are you talking to any of them around the league right now, or are you in your competitive silo trying to come up with your own stuff?
There's a handful of guys that I've talked to. I don't like to share a lot of things that I think or how I see it, but no, there's definitely a handful of guys that I trust and can, I would say, confide in, I guess, share similar ideas and see what they're doing. It was more on, I would say, more communication with other guys earlier in the process than now, since we've started on the field.
Is Tyler Huntley involved?
Say that again.
Is Tyler Huntley involved in his return?
We haven't used them back there. No, we haven't used them back there, but I mean, we could, Tony. We could see what it looks like.
And you've got to conceal a lot in the preseason, I would imagine, right? I mean, this is a whole new world for everybody. But how do you practice it at game speed if you don't use something?
What I think is beneficial for the play overall is compared to how the kickoff and kickoff return play was in the past. So now, obviously, with the play, you eliminate the speed and the space on the rep. So in the past, you wouldn't be able to rep as many kickoff and kickoff return plays within a special teams period. Now you have eliminated the running portion. Really, that's why you wanted to have less reps back in when it was like back with the older kickoff. Now you can probably get more reps because you're eliminating the speed. You're not taking as much. You're taking more off of their legs. So I think that definitely plays a factor.
Well, you have Cade back in the building.
Yeah.
How has he been kind of being back in here? How do you think this last year how do you think he sort of dealt with this last kind of year since you guys let him go and now brought him back?
I think he's been good since he's been back. He really has. I think that, I think he's learned a lot. I think that he's grown up quite a bit. And I think that we've seen a good bit of improvement in all areas of his kicking performances to this point.
How can you tell? Well, he was pretty good in practice before the games.
develops?
Yeah. I think that I think time will tell. Yeah, I think time will tell. So we're excited to have him back, and I think he's worked hard to get back to this point.
Has Kevin given you the blessing to use anybody that you want in return games and kickoff returns in terms of star skill players and whatnot?
I would say to a degree. Yeah, I would say to a degree. I think across the league, you're going to see more high-profile players back there. I think, just guys that are good with the ball in their hands, because there's elements to this play that play like a kickoff play. There's in kick like a true kickoff kick return play. There's elements of the play that could look like more of a punt return, and I think you're going to see a variety of schemes in that sense. I think you're going to see some schemes that you're going to try to get on guys quicker, and it's going to look more like a punt return. I think you're going to see some teams that will have schemes and plays that look like the old kickoff return, where you're going to retreat in your blocking technique. So I think you're going to see a variety of things, and you're going to see a lot of different body types back there.
Well, I know you've known Hines for a while,
Yeah.
obviously, but to get him back after that injury he went through and how hard he's working, like, what can you just say about him and what he might add as a return guy?
Yeah, I mean, first off, great kid, great player, great teammate. In every meeting, I would say very good leadership from him. He's helping out the young players with the return stuff right now. He has not been on the field yet, but very attentive. I'm really excited to have him back, and he'll definitely be a part of what we're doing.
When we talked to Brown,
Yeah.
you indicated the players were volunteering.
Yeah.
Why not? Why aren't you interested in
Well, I think you're going to see some more defensive players, maybe wanting to get involved, because first off, I think that this play is going to impact the game a lot more than people think. I think that there's an opportunity for both the coverage team and the return team to have big plays. And, a lot of times, guys, like in the past, I would say you'd have some pushback on starters wanting to be on the unit, because it's being on the kickoff unit in the past was hard, because you're starting to run, whether it was kicking off from the 30 or 35. That's a long way to run and then go right to a defensive play. That is hard. Okay, that's hard to do. Now you're eliminating the space of the run. There's a lot of elements of a defensive play in there. It's opportunities to get another tackle. It's an opportunity to make another play, to get another turnover. And then on the flip side of that, obviously, it's another chance to make a play like an offensive play. So.
But you mentioned that just how he hasn't been out there yet, but they're excited to have him out there. You mentioned last week that just from how he's kind of studied the play,
Yeah.
he feels that a player like him, who's a running back by nature, has kind of an advantage on just because how that zone sort of sets up like a play. Do you see some truth in that as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think, I think obviously it's great to have a guy back there that has good vision and obviously a good run skill set. He has both of those. He's an explosive player that's had a lot of production in his past. I know he has multiple punt returns from me, and he had multiple kick returns when he was in Buffalo. And I think all that will translate into the new play. I really do.
Because you've done all this work on the new kickoff.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have a good handle on how it's going to look week one, or does it still feel like a bit?
No, I mean, I think I do. I think I have a good feel on it. And I know that throughout training camp, once we get the pads on, there's definitely going to be some trial and error things that we're going to mess around with. I know, like, and Tony, to your point, like the preseason, you're not going to want to show too much, but you're still going to have to see things. And I think you're going to see more than you think in the preseason. I do. And I think for us, being able to have the joint practice against Minnesota will be really helpful for us. And when we practice it, and when I plan on going at it a good bit in training camp, we're going to have to practice hard, and we're going to practice it a lot. So we have to be on top of it and be ready for it.
During the offseason workout program, because it's so new, have you been like devoting more time in the classroom or on the field? If you just kind of replace the time that you normally do for kickoff with kickoff?
I'd say there's definitely been more time put into the new play. Yeah.
Dustin, excuse me, Bubba, do you have any plans to try to basically keep Dustin healthy?
Yeah,
Wait, look at that.
I'd say tackles inside the 20 will help us.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That'd be great. Yeah. don't. Yeah, if we can limit his time where he has to chase a returner would be helpful.
I'm curious. The other, and I understand that superficial aspect of the person, but he had a history. Was that
Yeah,
the
and
same type of thing happening with them?
I think last year I think he did a good job of communicating with us on the volume of kicks in practice. I think I think we saw really good results from, I would say, lower volume of kicks and kickoffs. So I think that'll have to be consistent with this season upcoming. And I think that he's a professional. He really is. He's a professional, and I trust him. And those other specialists have done a good job. So
Is that why 3 kickers on the roster currently is to help, maybe alleviate some of the wear and tear on Dustin's leg?
right. So he hasn't been here that much in the off-season program. He's been training in Tennessee, and he'll be back for minicamp. I know that. Lucas gives us another leg for sure. He's a talented kid that also can punt. So it's advantageous for us to be able to carry a guy that can both kick and punt, kicks off well, and he's a right-footed guy. So now you have a right-footed punter and a left-footed punter in practice. So
You
Just a couple more.
You joke about Dustin making tackles, but could this new kickoff rule expose kickers to maybe having to do more of that?
I think
They're kind of there by themselves back then.
I think you're going to have to, I would say, spend more time with the kickers on, true tackling technique. And we've actually talked to the defensive secondary coaches about getting with our guys on some of the drills that they do. So, yeah, I think that you're going to have to anticipate that those guys are going to have to make a few more tackles.
Pretty good.
Thanks.
Zero in front of him, what luck